Hey guys, so today's video is going to be my pregnancy update for weeks 33 and 34. I know the lighting is a little bit crazy. It's actually like 7:30 at night and the sun is obviously setting, so that is why it looks really bright right there, because the sun is setting. Anyways, so I'm at a weird angle and this side of my body is brighter than this side, but we're just gonna have to deal with it because I want to make sure I get this video up for you guys in a more timely manner than what I've been doing lately. So just a fair warning, I know this video is going to be really long. These are my notes. A lot has happened in the last 2 weeks, so I want to make sure I update you guys on absolutely everything. So grab a snack, grab a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, something, and I guess we're just going to talk about how my pregnancy is going. So I am 35 weeks today. I wanted to film this yesterday, but Max is actually home from school. He was sick, so I didn't get a chance to. I was taking care of him all day, so I'm filming it today. I can actually see Max riding his bike up and down the street with Jeremy right now. They're having a great time now that the weather is warming up and there's no more snow on the ground, thank goodness. Anyways, let's just jump right into the symptoms. I'm going to try and fire these off really quickly. I don't want to keep you guys here for too long. So in the last 2 weeks, the baby has finally gotten hiccups. I've always heard, either watching other pregnancy updates or from friends and family, that their baby gets the hiccups all the time. And I didn't experience that really with Max, and I hadn't experienced it with this baby up until the last 2 weeks. So he has been getting the hiccups quite often actually, and it's just a like really constant like thumping sound, equally spaced apart. So it's like when you have the hiccups, your hiccups are usually equally spaced apart until they dissipate. So you can kind of feel like a kick at first, but then you notice that they're coming almost rhythmically, and that usually indicates that the baby has a hiccup. Next, my hands and feet have started to swell. I don't know if it's just because I'm nearing the end of my pregnancy or it's the warmer weather. So I didn't really experience much swelling with Max, except I was probably only like 5 months pregnant, but that was when it was really hot out with Max. Max is a winter baby, so I'm assuming it has something to do with the weather warming up. But like my ring, I can get it off if I like really pull, but like can't get it off. It used to fit perfectly. And my feet swell up, not too often, but when they do, they're like really uncomfortable. Shoes are really uncomfortable to wear. I'm probably going to have to go and find my flip-flops, which I'm not really sure where they are because we moved in the middle of the winter, but I know they're here somewhere, so I might have to break those out, because even flats or like my Toms are so uncomfortable, because you know how those are like pretty tight and then my feet start swelling in them, and it is so uncomfortable. Then on the other side of the spectrum, which I thought was really weird to be experiencing both symptoms, not simultaneously but like within the same pregnancy, is a lack of blood circulation in my legs and feet. So not when they're swelling, but on other occasions, my legs and feet will appear really white. I know I'm looking pretty pasty in this like sun setting lighting, but I'm not that fair, and my legs would be like paper white, and I'd be getting like this really weird tingling sensation about like below the knee and down. It wasn't really like up into my thighs or anything, and I could still walk and I could feel my feet fine, but they were just like ghostly white, pins and needles, almost like they fell asleep even though I had been walking around or whatever. It usually happens when I'm sitting. I can't even cross my legs because of this huge bump, so it's not really that I am personally cutting off the blood flow by my own doing. It's just probably the weight of this child on my veins that is affecting it. Sorry about that. If you hear any voices, the boys just came in from outside because it's time to start getting ready for bed. But next symptom is I always feel full. And I remember this happening with Max, is that at the end of my pregnancy, just like all the organs are being shoved up into my rib cage. I feel like my stomach has no room to expand to allow any more food in there. And I've been eating like frequent smaller meals, but I just always have this really uncomfortable feeling, and like food is like up to here and will never go down. So it almost gives me like this claustrophobic, like choking feeling, which is really not great. I would prefer if that didn't happen, of course. And then along with that is, I think I mentioned this in a previous update, is my acid reflux. So I've been popping Tums like they're mints, basically. I think it's because, again, I'm feeling like food is like right up to here. That stomach acid is just coming up into my esophagus, and it's semi-painful and more gives me like a choking reflex, kind of, when you feel like your throat is burning off from stomach acid. Now, as a PSA, we are now entering the TMI zone. So pregnancy isn't always fun and glamorous. If these types of things make you feel uncomfortable, or you're just going to be commenting about how gross or whatever that makes you feel, then I would either skip ahead or stop watching now. I can put a timestamp of measurements start here and then go on to the belly shot and conclusion. But if you do not want to know intimate details about my body, then skip until this time here in the video, please. First symptom that is kind of uncomfortable to talk about, I have listed here as FUPA, F-U-P-A, fat upper pubic area, which is a slang term usually used in a mean way. That is not what I'm meaning. I am experiencing this not in a noticeable, like, even Jeremy wouldn't notice, but I notice because it's my own body, is where my pelvis has been separating, which has been getting worse. I'll get into that in a second. I am all swollen. So even wearing underwear or pants can get really uncomfortable unless they are loose. So I don't know if that just means that things are getting worse. Pain is definitely more intense than it was. I am feeling fetal movement through the gap in my pelvis, which, when it happens over and over and over again, when he has something like the hiccups or is just being a jerk in there and punching his little arms through there because he is head down, I would rather be in labor, to be honest. It hurts so incredibly much. I don't feel like you should be able to feel fetal movement that incredibly low. I feel like you should not be that low unless I am actually in labor, in the delivery room, ready to push. That's how low I feel that he is. So at my last doctor's appointment, she was feeling for where his head is at, just to make sure he's remained head down, and she said she could hardly feel his head and that he was so far down into my pelvis that it was hard for her to feel his head. So that is how far he's kind of, I would say, like fallen down in there, and I think that's because my pelvis is so unstable. So hopefully he will stay in there for a few more weeks at least. I'm only 35 weeks. It'd be preferable for him to stay in there for at least 2 more, I feel, even though I'm definitely ready to be done. But every mom obviously wants to have the healthiest baby possible, so at least 2 more weeks would be nice. I don't really feel as though I'm going to go into labor at any day now, but the fact that he is so low and putting so much pressure on my pelvis, which is already really unstable, it kind of worries me that he is ready to come at any time, which the second TMI symptom is what I've heard other people refer to as lightning crotch. I don't know if that's the correct term. I don't know if I'm using that correctly. Please let me know in the comments below if you do know, but it's like this intense stabbing sensation, pain. I've heard a lot of people say that they experience this when, you know, it's getting closer to their due date, which I'm still 5 weeks away. So again, I feel like that's really early. And I've only been experiencing it while I'm walking around on bigger excursions. So like walking to my car or going to get Max from school is not a big deal, but when we do large shopping trips at like Walmart or the grocery store where we're walking around for about an hour, like consistently moving, I definitely am experiencing it. I start walking a lot slower. I'm kind of hunched over the cart. It's really, really uncomfortable. And so I looked it up on Dr. Google, which I know you're not really supposed to do. I will bring it up at my next doctor's meeting and let you guys know if it's anything serious. But what I gathered from Dr. Google was that it was cervix dilation. So I believe with Max, I was 3 centimeters 1 week before I had him, approximately, which I don't think is, you know, uncommon or anything, but I feel like 5 weeks out, I shouldn't really be experiencing any cervix dilation yet. So I don't know if I'm going to specifically ask my doctor to check me at my next doctor's appointment, but I will bring up the lightning crotch symptom again. I don't know if I'm using that term right. What goes along with that, I guess, is that I've been experiencing more Braxton Hicks, mostly at night, like laying down in bed once I start to relax, about to fall asleep, then those contractions start kicking in. Sleep is still hard, which I mentioned in my last update. Still really uncomfortable and painful, obviously. I have to get up multiple times through the night, not just to pee, which if you're heavily pregnant or have been before, you definitely understand that, where you have to pee just all the time because you have a baby's head, just using your bladder as a pillow. But it's more than that. I'm waking up in a lot of pain, get up, walk around, oh, might as well go pee while I'm up, that sort of thing. But it's the pain that wakes me up, not the having to go pee thing. So contractions have been happening. I'm sure they're just Braxton Hicks because there is no consistency to them. Sometimes every few nights they'll be right on top of each other, and then I'm like, oh no, like, are things happening? Let's wait this out. Other times they're 20 minutes apart. Sometimes I'll have 2 back to back. The next one's half an hour from now, and then the next one's 3 hours from now. So I am very sure that I'm not in labor as of yet, but the contractions at night have been just another thing keeping me up and keeping me from getting a restful night's sleep. TMI symptoms are over. I'm going to get into the measurements now. So I mentioned in my last update, I was super happy about how I had hardly gotten any bigger and that maybe I was just done growing bigger, you know, around the middle, and that the baby would just not be putting the pounds on me so much as on himself. That is not the case. So I'm still gaining the proper amount of weight. I'm gaining about a pound a week. Now that I can't eat as much, we'll see if in my next doctor's appointment if I'm continuing on that path or if I have gained a little less than I should have, I guess. But anyways, back to the measurements. I've definitely gotten a lot bigger the last 2 weeks compared to my last update. So at 33 weeks, I was 43 3/8 of an inch around, which I mentioned in my last video. And then at 34 weeks, I was 44.5 inches around, which that's a significant difference. That's an 1.8 inch difference bigger in 1 week. And then today I measured myself again and I was 45.25 inches. So I grew another 3/4 of an inch this past 7 days, this past week. So I've been back to getting bigger, which I seriously feel like I cannot get any bigger. My skin is so tight. My belly is rock hard, but week by week, it's happening. It's getting bigger. So now I'm going to show you my belly. So this is what we're looking like with a shirt on. I'm just wearing my Old Navy maternity leggings, and this is from Time Maternity, I believe. I got it from a thrift sale, and I actually really like it. Roll down my full panel. It's my favorite pants. And this is what we're looking like. Again, the light always reflects off the front because that's where I'm applying the most oils, where these stretch marks have been coming in. Yeah, I'm feeling very big, still extremely low. Like, I'm on my tippy toes right now, but like super low. Again, I've pointed this out in the past, but that's my hip right here, and my belly goes much lower than that. If that gives you any kind of reference at all, I'm not really sure. So like I mentioned in my last video, I'm starting to get the dark line. It starts off pretty centered and then curves out. This is from my pants, this weird line there, but definitely still continuing to get more stretch marks. I'm getting more like back here at the top, like here, 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 which I feel like is really weird because that's not where the skin is tight. Like, this skin is not tight. This, I feel like I couldn't possibly get any bigger. And he's still crooked. So back is over here. He does flip from side to side, so that's not always constant. He's never like right up the front. So I'm either bulging out this side or I'm bulging out this side. It just depends on the day. So like, I have a waist on this side still, and this side is completely gone. And these pants are great for how sore I'm feeling from my split pelvis. I don't know if you guys can tell, but like the front of these are like completely loose, like have no shape at all. So I think that was everything for this update. I'm really sorry this update was super long, but a lot has happened this week compared to other weeks. And I tried to go through it as quickly as possible, but as always, if you have any questions, then please leave them in the comments below and I will try and get back to you. And please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!